The other day, I saw a weird headline on the CBC. France's National Front leader calls Canada's refugee plan madness. And then the subheadline was Marine Le Pen's far-right views unsettle some voters in Calais, where she's running for office. That was the headline. Now, my first thought was how funny it is that the CBC can't seem to find anyone in Canada who thinks our refugee plan is madness. Their pundits panels all love it. Their news reporters all love it. They work extremely hard at ignoring opinion polls in Canada showing that a majority of Canadians are worried about Muslim migrants or want to slow it down or think it's risky from a terrorism point of view. So my first thought was, well, it's obvious that the CBC wants to purport that anyone who opposes the mass migration to Canada of Muslims from terrorist central is far right, even though in Canada that view is actually centrist. It's the CBC that's outside the mainstream. And they chose Marine Le Pen because she has a poor international media reputation. As you can see in their headline, they call her far right. Okay, so it's settled. Only a far-right crypto-Nazi in Europe could possibly oppose Canada's wonderful refugee plan. She's so far right. Yeah, about that, here's the latest opinion polls from France. Marine Le Pen is set to win this weekend's regional elections. Let me quote, France's anti-immigrant, anti-Euro National Front party could win 2 regions in local elections next month and might get as many votes as its conservative and centrist rivals combined, according to opinion polls published on Sunday. Now, it's fair to call them anti-immigrant, as in they want to stop new immigration. But even Le Pen doesn't talk about deporting Muslims, so maybe it's more accurate to call her anti-more immigration. France is swimming in immigrants, and she's apparently fine with that. She just doesn't want more. Anti-Euro is pretty accurate. I think most Europeans are against the European Union. But to their credit, this Bloomberg report doesn't call Le Pen far right or fascist or whatever the lazy leftists at the CBC do, because when you are so popular in France, the polls show you will win as many votes as all of your opponents combined. Well, it's tough to call that person a fringe, isn't it? No, I'll tell you who the fringe is, who the extremists are, who the scary people are. It's people who, in the wake of the biggest mass murder in Paris since the Second World War, the biggest military-style terrorist attack on Paris since the Nazis, it's people who, like French President François Hollande, still want to bring in more Muslim migrants from terrorist hotbeds. That's fringe. That's extremist. That's dangerous. French popular opinion says so. And even if the CBC, well, if they ever did any actual reporting instead of propaganda work for the Liberal Party, they'd realize that popular opinion in Canada says the same thing. If you agree that we need to press pause in Muslim migration to Canada and first beef up our national security and vet these migrants and make sure they're not just economic advantage takers or worse, terrorists, or even just Muslim extremists, non-violent people, but people who believe in Sharia law. If you think we just need to take a pause, like Marine Le Pen does, sign our petition at RefugeePause.ca. The CBC will call you far right, but as you can see, that's just a nickname they use for anyone who disagrees with them. I'm Ezra Levant.